Welcome to CEO Interviews, a production of Agoracom in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives about recent important developments at their companies. With us today, I'm happy to have again Harry Barr. He's Chairman, CEO, and Director of Pacific Northwest Capital. The company trades on the TSX Venture Exchange on the stock symbol PFN. For our friends in the US, PAWEF, and for our friends in Germany on Frankfurt under P7J. And by the way, the company has announced a changing name to New Age Metals, so keep a lookout for that same company, new name. Now, for those of you who are new to the company and new to the story, PFN Capital owns 100% of the River Valley PGM resource in Northern Ontario. It's one of the largest undeveloped primary PGM resources in Canada, with measured and indicated resources containing about 2.5 million ounces of PGMs and gold, and Harry's going to explain that in a minute. The resource right now is under valuation for development potential as an open pit mining operation. The company's also got a lithium division with multiple lithium projects in both Nevada and Manitoba. We'll touch on that at the end, but today we're here to talk about River Valley and the PGM resource. Harry, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, George.
Harry, you're in the unique position of having two great divisions in your company right now. The premier project is your 100% owned River Valley PGM property. Give everyone a layman's overview of why this property is as spectacular as you guys think it is.
Well, first of all, George, in the mining business, you look at location, and of course, we're only about 100 kilometers or about 60 road miles from one of the largest metallurgical complexes in Canada. That's Sudbury. Sudbury Mining District is over 100 and some years of mining, so people around the area totally understand it, and many of the ancestors of everyone there today have worked in and around the mines or companies that had something to do with the mines. Thirdly, we have a great relationship with our local native group, and they, in Ontario, and the new law is now every 3 years you have to sign a new exploration agreement, and we were able to do that in less than 3 weeks with the local Temagami group. And fourthly, it's just a great area to do mining. People understand mining and want it, and the metallurgical complexes that are in Sudbury, owned by very big companies, could take our concentrate once we get to mining.
And for everyone at home quickly who are not familiar with PGM deposits, what are the metals that primarily you've got at River Valley?
Well, they're platinum group metals. There's about seven different types of platinum group metals, but the most predominant ones in the world are platinum, palladium, and rhodium. We have all three, but what makes us different is there's only one producer in Canada that is a primary PGM project right now. It's 800 kilometers away from Sudbury, and again, to prove how important that metallurgical complex is, they ship all their concentrates 800 kilometers from northern Ontario down to get the concentrates and to get their ores out. Again, we're 100 kilometers away. So platinum group metals are about 10 times less of the amount of gold that's produced in the world, so they're scarce and they're hard to find in North America. Principally, they come from Russia and South Africa.
Now, you've recently added to the River Valley land package. Why the addition? How significant is that to the entire project as a whole?
Well, starting with the entire project as a whole, George, we've got 12,000 acres, and what's significant about that, we actually have it at a mining lease, which means we pay the two local townships a tax on it, and it's on a 21-year revolving lease. So that's our initial package where the resources are. Why we wanted the extra 4 kilometers of a contact that we've been chasing the mineralization through the first 12, we've added 4 more, so we've got 16, or a total of about 16,000 acres, is that a local group had it. They brought the second largest mining company of platinum group metals in the 2000s, and they spent about $4 million on the property. And we've had our eye on this property for many years, and I guess the moons aligned this summer and we were able to pick it up. So our new property is called the River Valley Extension, and literally it is an extension of the same ore body mineralization that we've been chasing for 12 kilometers. We now have 16. We've gone from 12,000 acres to 16,000 acres.
And by the way, you mentioned something there, and I think it's worth mentioning, just put a little highlight on there, that the company did have the wherewithal to withstand the mining resources storm over the last 4 or 5 years, and not only hold on to the project, keep it because it's such a big project, but add to it. And I think that talks a lot about your experience, your management team, and the kind of resources you bring to the table.
Well, thanks, George. It really has been difficult for most of the juniors, and we lost probably half the companies. A lot of the brokerage houses in Canada that used to support us are no longer here. Geologists, engineering companies, geophysical companies, drilling companies, they're all hit very, very hard. It was kind of the worst downturn we've ever seen in the industry. It looks like it's turned starting this March, April, May. We start to see a very significant difference. We were able to go out and raise new capital, which was significant. I mean, I was always been a big part of funding this. I own almost 20% of the company, but others joined in with us this year, and there's a lot more interest. And to that end, you're going to hear about a drill program that we're going to have for the first time since 2015, and that's all a direct relation to new funding that we got this year.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to ask that question. Everyone looking at a junior resource company wants to know about the company's cash position. Can you give us a rough idea of what your cash position is looking like and if you're doing more financing to bring in more money?
Yeah, we have around $600,000 now with no debt. We will be doing some more financing most likely this fall to keep our drill programs going and to start. We had enough to get the lithium division going, fund it, and we'll be drilling on it in the winter months. So we're hoping to put together another $500 to $1 million over the next few months.
All right, so this is a massive project. The size and scale of it is, you talked about the fact you just added 4,000 acres to existing 12,000 acres. You had a 43-101 resource we talked about at the beginning, about 2.5 million ounces. You're looking for a large partner to help move the project forward. That's going to be necessary at some point. Do you have confidence that you're going to be able to find that large partner and put River Valley into production?
Well, it's an excellent question. Yes, we do. I think it's going to take some time, George. We've kind of slotted 6 months to the next year. Again, in the turndown we've had the last 5 years, it wasn't just the juniors suffered. I always say if the big companies get a sniffle, the juniors get pneumonia. Right. And the big companies had more than a sniffle. They might have had pneumonia too. I mean, if you look at the Barrick Golds of the world, they were $8 at Christmas. At one point, not long ago, they were $32. And many of the big companies were kind of shunned by the institutional investors the last 5 years for a number of reasons. That's all turned around. These companies need more supply, and they need to get company or projects like us kind of under their belt. I think now at least they're being receptive. We have a new program out to reach out to over 500 different groups. We're looking for people and companies that understand platinum group metals, know that it's going to take 3 to 5 years to come in and fund us and to get it there, and have the wherewithal and the belief in platinum group metals, and of course the Sudbury District and our project to get us there. So to that end, we have a program reaching out to about 500 different groups as we speak. And I'm hoping again in the next 6 months to a year, as these companies realize that for every 24 hours their mines are being depleted, a lot of new mines have not been found, and they're going to be reaching out for new projects. So that's what we're looking to do.
So while that's the medium-term outlook, what does the near-term outlook look like for you then from an operations standpoint point of view? What work of any kind or of anything, you talked about a potential drill program. Is that going to be the focus for the next 6 to 12 months while you're looking for that partner?
Yeah, we have over 30 million spent on the property, and the 2.5 million ounces are spread out over the top 8 kilometers. We know there's still mineralization down to the bottom of our 12. Now we've added 4 more on, and we know that 50-some holes went in there. Over 3 to 4 million got spent on it, and there's mineralization there. What we're trying to do is concentrate on the top 4 kilometers, more or less, where we have about 600,000 ounces in the 5th 43-101 that was done. That 600 we're trying to get to 1 million ounces over the next year or two. Again, then we would do a PEA, pre-feasibility, feasibility on that first 1 million ounces, get an open pit situation going, get it financed and ready to go. And with that, we think that we can bring a major in and show them that that's the first part of this. Not to say that we're not going to be able to mine a lot more, but we've got to start at a nucleus. And the reason we're up in the northern portion is it was traditionally a little bit higher grade in that 1.5 to 2 gram range. In 2015, we made a brand new discovery called the T2, and we're drilling on that next week. So we're hoping to find more of what we found about a year ago, which was much higher grade in the right area where we could possibly take that 600,000 ounces to 1 million.
So extending on the point there that you talked about, at some point you wanted to be able to do a PEA and things like that just to figure out the economics of it. A lot of people at home aren't familiar with metals prices in the PGM sector, in the platinum group sector. Now, prices have languished a bit over the last 5 years. That's natural. Where do you see the upside potential coming from in potential metals prices for PGMs moving higher over the next 5 years?
Well, the first thing I'd like to say is that platinum group metals are precious metals. And this is one of the first time in platinum's history that it's traded under the price of gold. Traditionally, the last 50 years, it was always $100 or $200 more. So if you look at palladium, which we have more palladium, our metals in terms of order are palladium first, platinum second, gold, and then we have some base metals. There's about 8 metals in the property altogether. But palladium at one point this year was $450, and again it hit about $750 in the summer months, $740 I think it was. And so there's a very significant move. It's just under, the last I looked, just under $700. But when the price of, if you believe in gold and silver and their value as a store of wealth, then you have to look at platinum group metals as a store of wealth too. And as again, all I have to say to people is watch American politics to see whether you think this world is in a bit of a mess or not. And I think you will see gold move up quite significantly in the next few months and years, and PGMs will too.
Here's what I love about the company. So we've got Harry Barr, a seasoned veteran, 30 years, you've raised hundreds of millions of dollars. So you're and a major shareholder of PFN. You've got River Valley as its premier piece of project, so that's backstopping the entire company. But you've also added on a new division. Let's talk about that for a couple of minutes. Let's talk about the new division, the kind of projects and you're bringing into it, and why you're so optimistic about that. Again, because you've got so much experience, you're not the guy that goes out there chasing stuff. You have a vision. Why this new division?
Well, I think you're right. I refer to River Valley as the core asset in the company. What we decided over the last year and a bit is to look at lithium as a new green energy metal. Again, platinum group metals, for the most part, about 60-some% of palladium in the world ends up in the tailpipe of your car in an auto catalyst. So it is a green metal too. And, just with what's happened in the lithium market in the last year or two, prices and electric cars coming on full stream, we decided to look at platinum group metals and add the lithium division to it. The second reason we did that is we found a key geologist who had worked most of his career in lithium, in tantalum, in rare earths out in the Manitoba area of Canada. There's a mine called Tanko, and he was 12 years there in the exploration department. So his name is Kerry Gilschuk, and he's come on to help us do 3 things. First of all, since February, March, we've been acquiring land. We have 5 major projects now in the Winnipeg area. It's about 75 to 150 kilometers northeast and west of Winnipeg, all centralized in and around this mine called the Tanko mine, where our new projects are. We also have one project down in Clayton Valley, which in that same valley, about 4% of the world's supply of brine lithium comes out. The projects in Canada are hard rock.
And that's, again, what I like about the projects in Canada. It's location, location, location. You're in a great area that's established and has a history of success in lithium.
That's right. And we've tried to centralize around Kerry's experience and his knowledge. A lot of these projects, the big mining company I was talking about earlier used to have, and because of timing and whatever, they've cut back on it. So we basically used Kerry's experience to go out and acquire, as they say, 5 different projects. The last one is a non-43-101, but was an old resource. And so we have the first one is called Lithium 1, has 40 different pegmatites. So what we're looking for is a pegmatite rock first. In the pegmatite is a spodumene, and in the spodumene is a lithium. And our first project called Lithium 1 has over 40 pegmatites. Hasn't been drilled since the 50s for a number of reasons. The property sat around and just couldn't be dealt out. It came back into the public. A gentleman staked it, and we acquired it from him. We've staked 2 or 3 more, and we've acquired the old deposit here is our last property. It's called Lithium 2. So right now we're out in the field ground proofing all of them. We're developing a geological report for all 5 properties. and that would recommend where we go in terms of drilling. And we think at least 2 to 3 of those properties will be ready to drill in February, March of 2017.
Well, folks, everyone at home, there you have it. You've got PFN Capital that's going to be changing its name to New Age Metals. 2 great divisions, the Platinum Group Metals division and the Lithium division, along with Harry Barr and his team, seasoned veteran behind this all. Take a close look at the company, do your due diligence, put the company on your watch list, and Harry, from the sounds of it, we're going to have you back quite a bit in the next 3-4 months, or at least before the end of 2016, because it looks like you've got work going on both sides. So we're looking forward to following up with you on those, and I'm sure everyone at home is going to do the same.
Thank you very much for your time today, George.
You've been watching Harry Barr, the Chairman, CEO, and Director of Pacific Northwest Capital, soon to be New Age Metals. The company trades in Canada under stock symbol PFN. For our friends in the US, PAWEF, and for our friends in Germany, P7J. You can find the company on the web at pfncapital.com. All the information is there, very well laid out. You get all your research done just by going to the site. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you next time.